They want to see that you are one person who is fitting in the role that they have got. They're hiring you for training, not for the job. If you're introducing yourself, try connecting with the components that they are interested in. How to introduce yourself in an interview? It's a common question that I'm always asked, and a lot of students who come for mock interview to us, they are always struggling that how should I present myself? Well, I think you, by entering into the room, you have already introduced yourself there. And while you have introduced yourself there in person, I don't think there is much to be worried about. In fact, it's a very simple thing. You have to introduce yourself in a manner that they are getting a feel that you are the right person that they are looking forward to. And that introduction is very vital. I think introduction to me is not something when they ask this question and then you answer and then introduction starts. No. Introduction starts right from the moment that you enter into the room. So the body language that you have got, the smile on the face that you have got, or stress or tension that you have on your face, they're all very much part of your introduction itself. In fact, a lot of students think that this introduction determines my rest of the interview. I always tell people, every question in interview is a fresh question. Unless you have a preconceived notion about the past questions, is a fresh question. Every question is a fresh question there. And then I like you to think of the questions as they come to you. Like, let's say we talk about the introduce yourself that you have got. I always advise people, when you're introducing yourself, I think you should not spend too much of time giving about your basic informations, like too much time talking about that I come from this particular area and this is my address and this is my email, this is my phone number, this is my graduation. That's already there with them. I don't think you need to be talking too much about that aspect. In fact, here, it's very important that we understand that there is a particular reference that we have for our presence in that room. And that reference must be contextualized when you are giving your introduction, because they want you to see you not as the person who has had a particular past, because they're so used to having people from all different extreme, different parts from where they all have come and then joined UPSC. So what they are actually interested in, they want to see that you are one person who is fitting in the role that they have got. So if you're introducing yourself, try connecting with the components that they are interested in, and those components, the beautiful place to look for is the Gazette of India. In the Gazette of India, they have already given those basic traits that they're looking for, they're interested in. And then those statements somehow should be woven as part of your DAF 2 that you have got in particular. Like the word leadership is there. Say, for example, leadership, you could possibly say that I was in NCC. If you have done NCC or NSS, I acquired that leadership as a trait in my personality. That's something which is what they're looking for. Those words that you have got, and they has to be absolute honesty about while you are deliberating. At the same time, it should be conveying to an image of a person who is going to be hired by them for next 30-35 years, who would be serving the society. So some social traits, concern for the society, and that is what basically I would find should contain the bigger part of the total introduction that you have got. In fact, a lot of students, while giving introduction, they try as if like they are leading the board. It is very risky, I must tell you. While you may use introduction as an open-ended question where you can exhibit something which is where they would get some points to ask from you. Like you have as a hobby that you have got rock climbing, you speak on rock climbing for a minute or so that you can possibly expect some questions from them. But then if you do not want that they ask you about the different types of knots or the kind of different types of hold that you have got in rock climbing, I think you better not talk much about it. But I think you may give lead, but you should not be pushy about that. You should not be pushing that, hey, you must ask me a question and then you elaborate one facet of your personality so much. That is what I mean by pushing. I think introduction can be practiced, but after practicing, it should still remain fresh. You should try and improvise there itself. You should see that to what extent they have got interest in listening to you. And introduction should not be sort of one question which has got so much of finality in them. I think those finality aspect has to be avoided. You should not appear that you are a finished product. They should get to feel that, hey, this is one person who can be hired for training. This is one thing I like you to remind you all the time. In interview, you should not be giving an image at any stage, introduction, even later, that I am a person who has got fixation on certain things. That this fixating thing is really, really bad, because they're hiring you for training, not for the job. So should not give too much of those facets which give them an idea that this person has, let's say, for example, you've taken philosophy as an optional, and you are a graduate in computer science, say, for example. So in that case, it should not give them an image that while you have acquired philosophy as your recent hobby or recent optional, so you become a philosopher. So that is a lot of people kind of as a mistake do, giving them an image, or you have studied computer science, that you give an image that I am all about computer science. No, you should give a person of a general nature, and then willingness to the role that you have applied for, and then connect with that, the society, the issues of the country, the system that we are operating. Those connects should be given more emphasis, and you should appear not as a person which is specialized in a particular field, but a rounded personality which is willing to learn and then serve the beautiful nation, India. So that's something which is what I like you to keep in mind while you're introducing yourself.